Hello and welcome to IDDTalks. My name is Anastasia Lavrina and now I am joined by a very distinguished expert from Almaty, Kazakhstan, Mr. Nurbolat Nyshanbayev, PhD, Turan University. More welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being with us. Well, 5 years after Azerbaijan restored its territorial integrity, on 8th of November, we celebrate the Victory Day. How do you see the transformation of the South Caucasus? Has the region truly entered an era of peace and reconstruction?
Yes, I think the 8th of November is the so-called Victory Day. 5 years ago, it was a big step creating a new regional order. Because if you will look at with the historical prism in the last 5 years, this decision created new order in South Caucasus, the first one, because we see structural transformation after this Victory Day. For example, the agreement, trilateral agreement between the Armenia, Azerbaijan, as well as United States. I think this kind of project will impact for the have wider regional influence in the example of Middle Corridor project, as well as many others. The second aspect is it was a decision ending all the frozen conflicts in this region, also creating mutual trust. So in the last few years, we have seen the reactivization relations between Türkiye as well as Armenia regarding this one. All this aspect has a fruitful impact, re-establishing, reactivating all those frozen relations between the nations. So for the long term, I think this will help to make South Caucasus as a bridge region between on the one side, Central Asia and Asia, on the other side, whole European Union. So therefore, it's not only victory for Azerbaijan, but for the whole region at all.
Right. And from a Central Asia perspectives, what lessons can be drawn from Azerbaijan's post-conflict development, especially in terms of national resilience, diplomacy, and strategic communication on a global stage?
For Central Asian states, Central Asian politicians should learn some lessons probably from the Victory Day from between the Azerbaijan and Armenian conflicts. The first thing is the territorial problems, territorial sovereignty problems should be solved within bilateral relations only. Because in Central Asia, we have seen in many cases, in Central Asia also was able to solve their territorial issues, but in bilateral cases without interference of the third parties. So the case of Azerbaijan and Armenia, it teaches Central Asian countries how trust matters when dealing with the territorial aspects, as well as why status quo is important, creating mutual trust between the nations. So therefore, Central Asian states was also, for example, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan, they were able to solve these issues last year. So it helped them to create C5+1 formats further on, solving all these issues. So therefore, for Central Asia, for two reasons, it's very important. The first one is solving the problems in bilateral issues. The second one is making those South Caucasus and the Central Asian region active again in the Eurasian continent. Because if we look at from the map, all the Central Asian nations are landlocked almost. They don't have direct access to the ocean. Their logistical potential can be improved only by their neighbors. So therefore, I think now is becoming a time recreating, reestablishing all those rules of the game in terms of logistics and finding a trustworthy trade partners. So therefore, the Azerbaijan and Armenian Victory Day, which signed a treaty 5 years ago almost, it helped at least for the long term establish such a kind of ambitious project for the long term.
Well, and the Organization of Turkic States has become a growing platform for political, economic, and cultural unity. In your opinion, how has Azerbaijan's victory in 44 days patriotic war influenced the Turkic world sense of solidarity and common strategic identity?
Without Turkic state organization, it would almost totally impossible to have a strong related relations between Central Asia and South Caucasus and the Turkeys. So now being able to solve such a kind of issues, we see Turkic state organization states is becoming kind of neutral ideas, which on the one side is on European peninsula, on the other side is close to the eastern China. So therefore, the resolution of the conflict, let's say, it helped to draw a line from one side of the eastern side of Kazakhstan, on the other side with the Turkey, so making a great landmark, not only the logistical aspect, but as a creating a symbolic common identities, let's so called. So without Azerbaijan's resolutions with Armenia, it was hardly possible.
So, Nurbolat, Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, two countries, the cooperation is growing fast. Today, two countries play a key role in shaping the middle corridor. How does this cooperation between two countries strengthen not only regional connectivity, but also the geopolitical autonomy of the Turkic states and global power competition?
Sure. For example, today, technically in the Washington, C5+1 summit is going on with Central Asian states plus the United States. If we look at historically in the last couple of years, Central Asia became the competition between China and Russia. But the re-emergence, let's say, reactivization of so-called middle corridor is making attractive not only South Caucasus or European nations, but United States, many other states too, because the Chinese relations with the European Union, also Russia's interest between the South and the North trade route is making again the importance of the middle corridor project. But here is the problem: so middle corridor is not only trade routes, I think, but it is ideological routes too, connecting between East and West. They will not send only ships and products, but they share ideas, they create common identities. So it's a very symbolic, recreating those great trade line in Eurasia in by the land, because it will, I think, helps to reestablish so old forgotten Turkish ideas with this load. But again, this was thanks to the many other attempts in the last times. But we should take in particular attention relations between Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, because the two nations on the both sides of the Khazar or Caspian Seas, they are becoming one of the initiator, also one of the guarantor of the securities of the products which had been transformed by these trade routes from China to Europe. So therefore, my vision is middle corridor project will be symbolically important, connecting Azerbaijan and the Kazakhstan in the upcoming decades. So it also was impossible without solving all the territory related and many other issues. Thanks to the Azerbaijan's attempt again in back to 5 years, was able to give a new impulse. This kind of geopolitical, also not ideological, let's say maybe logistical aspect.
Nurbolat, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. I wish you everything, all the best in your new projects.